Good morning, soul sisters. Welcome to my channel. I am Angel, and this is Notes on a Lazy Sunday, where I share my life, learning, and lessons, sometimes my writings and musings, for the benefit and expansion of the sisterhood, a space for black and deeply melanated women to commune and connect. So, grab your coffee or tea, but don't spill it. Settle down, snuggle up, and lean in. Now, this week, I'm going to talk about what I love about being a black woman. It's something I thought about a while ago. I made some notes and I've updated it more recently because I'm just incredibly grateful to be in a space in the here and now of being the woman that I am. And I know it's a time where life seems uncertain. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world in general. And I think maybe we need to pull it back sometimes and just be grateful for who we are, because that appreciation and love of self kind of ripples out into the world, and we recognize and we start to see the positives in all aspects of the life that we're living despite the external circumstances. So, some time ago, a man I am acquainted with sent me a video. Now, I have to say, it was one I was somewhat surprised by, as it was a vitriolic critique of the black woman. And I had absolutely no idea why he would send this to me, a woman known to be fiercely pro black and who loves every aspect of my culture and has studied my history, etc. However, in his wisdom, he chose to send it to me. The man in the video did not for 1 minute mince his words and proceeded to slate us all for bitching, bringing up thugs, being emotionally immature and demanding. He said that we were always bragging about being queens and everyone wants us, but the reality is that the black man is turning to the white woman, his words, not mine, any woman but us, because we're driving them off with our pistosity and pouting. He then went on to say that we're all single because we are egotistical children. We do not take responsibility. We accept thugs as partners and then have a slew of unwanted babies in an attempt to get these men to stay with us. As a result, we abuse and neglect our children because they weren't wanted in the first place, and who are now a persistent reminder of the error we made in laying down in trying to get the attention from the good-for-nothing thug in the first place. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, caramba. And a whole lot of words and phrases that I'm trying to reach for instead of the expletives that are running through my mind. Now, you can imagine my, well, all I can call it is incredulity at the bile that spewed forth from this man, whose bass and accent told me he was a black American male. I came to the conclusion that some sister must have do him bad. And it got me thinking, though. It's easy to get caught up in the negatives because, yes, it's true. The black experience, especially the black female experience, is one of struggle and persecution often. It's one of pain and discrimination often. It's one of slurs and struggle and pushing through and beating the odds often, even as we enter 2024. So, yes, more often than not, our stories are made up of events which serve to humiliate or denigrate us. Yes, our narratives are often only visible, when illustrating what I call our poverty porn narrative, one of challenge and of rising despite institutionalized racism, injustice, and how we do it with such dignity and with grace, but it's always one of pushing against and breaking through and just exhausting. Yes, there are social and emotional challenges that we need to address. And yes, our pain is acute and real, none of it fabricated, and it's hard to live with and live through. And yes, in our attempts to get some relief from the pressures of our lives, from the just over broke or the downright indebted and broke scenarios, the relationship dramas, the isms, we, me included, can focus disproportionately on the negatives of the black experience. But There are just as many wonderful things about our experience of being black, and it is these that keep us going despite it all. Rising, forever finding ingenious ways around, up, over the pressures that we encounter every day. So, here's what I love about being a black woman. I love our resilience. Despite times when I honestly feel I will simply break apart or break open, somehow me, my sisters, our mothers and aunts, the sistren, the cousins and friends just keep bouncing back. Many without vitriol, and somehow we find a way to manage and find hope. We will fall asleep broken and rise to the light of the sun and know that because it's shining that there must be a God, and that means there's always a possibility that things will change. I love our spirituality. Even though many of us have rejected formal religious practices, there's somehow a spiritual gossamer thread that's vague and barely discernible maybe, but it reminds us that our ancestors' DNA courses through us, reminds us that we are connected to Mother Earth Gaia, to the pouring of libation for the Omis, to letting the elders feed first at the christenings and parties. These are all little rituals that connect us through the centuries and through the eons to who we are today and to the children that we have, and right the way back to those elders and ancestors that were with us from the dawn of time. I love that we recognize our connection to one another, the irresistible magnetic, my teeth, honestly, I don't know what's wrong with my voice today, the irresistible magnetic pull to proffer a nod of acknowledgement, I recognize the spirit in you. And we are the same nod that we give whenever you catch the eye of another black person for longer than a nanosecond. I love that my skin is choco coffee smooth. It's, why haven't you got any wrinkles? Taut. And when nourished by the sun and replenished by oils, it shines bronze reflecting, hailing the glory of the melanin that gives it its hue. I love that I can flip my language from standard English to Broad Yorkshire and Jamaican patois and now some Niger pidgin as easily as butter slides off a hot knife. And that the myriad of phonetic and linguistic melanges create a uniqueness of expression that cannot be matched nor mimicked. And all this despite having our languages taken from us. I love that my people are linguistic governors. None can compete with the numerous words and phrases our varying cultures drop like social diamonds into the fabric of popular and musical culture. We're constantly inventing for shizzle we are. I love the richness of our history, that despite its heinous theft, we are reclaiming it. Pharaonic brick by brick, songy and stone by stone. I love too that when I come together with my sister, there is a stripping away of the miasma of oppression, and instead, if there's true sisterhood and not the jealousy I previously talked about, then what you'll find is us releasing the bass in our voices, as well as sometimes the brass straps, and liberating the guttural, deep, raucous laughter that emanates from our bellies as we talk, we talk, and let go the tension of toe tipping and tiptoeing through a world which insists we hide parts of ourselves in case we be deemed too loud or aggressive, too threatening, too bright, just too damn much. What I love about being a black woman is that I have an infinite number of options when it comes to do with what to do with my hair, which is both liberating and confining at the same time. What I love about being a black woman is that when I sashay out of a room, I know you can't help but recognize that that space is a little duller because of it. What I love about being a black woman is that I know and recognize the power and strength of my ancestors. The wisdom from their trials and suffering lie within me, and that I proudly carry their genetic code. What I love about being a black woman is I am infinitely creative in voice, expression, and in how I love. What I love about being a black woman is that I am black. I am woman. The man who created the video denounced us as queens and said that all the black woman has is attitude. What I told the man who shared the video with me was, if a man cannot tell the difference between a woman with standards, a woman with boundaries, and one with attitude, then he certainly ain't no king. If you enjoyed what you just heard, then you know how this works. Please give the video a like or a share if you know of another woman who might like to hear content like this. It helps to grow the channel and it enables me to create more powerful and meaningful content for you. So I'll leave it there for this episode. I hope it was thought-provoking, entertaining, comforting, and uplifting. My aim, as always, is to create a space for connection and comfort for the Black female collective and whoever resonates with the message. For now, I wish you love, light, and prosperity as you journey to your greatest you.